I wanted to make a quick video just going on the Switch 2 release since we're so close. I mean, as of today, at the time of recording, this is May 31st. We're about 5 days away from the Switch 2 release, and I start thinking of all the things that I want to do to be prepared for when the console's actually in my hands. So, for those of us who were lucky enough to get a Switch 2 pre order, there's a few things I would recommend doing before the Switch 2 launches. First things first, I'd make sure your Switch is up to date. So, the current Switch version is version 20.1.0. The Switch 2 will have a day one update patch in order to bring it up to the same version. But both the Switch 1 and the Switch 2 need to be on the same version in order to do a system transfer. Now, the system transfer can be done two ways. It depends on if you're keeping your original Switch or not. For me, I'm keeping my first one. I don't plan on selling it. So I will have the Switch 1 on the day I have the Switch 2, and I can do the transfer either over internet or using a cord. But of course, they need to be on the same version, so I would recommend updating your system through System Update Now. Quick side note, if you are selling your Switch 1, there is a process in order to back up your save data now before you sell the Switch 1. The IGN actually did a very handy video on how to start the transfer process early. I will include a link to that video in the description. Please be warned if you choose to transfer your system data early using a method shown in the IGN video, it will factory reset your Switch 1. So don't do that if you're not planning on selling it. The second thing I would do to get ready for the Switch 2 launch is getting or updating your Nintendo Switch app. So this is really good for people who are already subscribed and you pay for the yearly Nintendo Switch Online subscription. You can get the app directly from the Apple App Store or from the Google Play Store, and then you log in using your My Nintendo account. If you already have the app, just make sure you updated it. There was an update on May 30th, which included some new functionality that they kind of anticipated for the Switch 2. So this is going to include things like being able to add friends through the app, accessing game chat, being able to see uploaded photos and videos, and the Zelda Notes feature, which will be exclusive to the Switch 2 editions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I did a separate video on the Nintendo app update, and so I'll link that in the description as well. The third thing I would recommend doing as you're waiting for your Switch 2 in the next 6 days is double checking your pre-order. For those of us with in-store pre-orders, that means you either pre-ordered from Gamestop or Best Buy here in the United States, you definitely want to reach out to your local store and confirm what their process is. A lot of stores are doing midnight releases, but not every store is doing that. I know for GameStop, for people who have in-store pre-orders with GameStop, they're allowing people to come around 3 p.m. on Wednesday, June 4th for a launch event. So be sure to bring your receipt and pay off the balance of your Switch 2 if you haven't done so already. You definitely want to make sure you pay it off before the midnight launch. It'll just make it easier and smoother going through the process. They'll also give you some sort of a ticket number, so when you pick it up at midnight, you kind of just go in order of numbers. They're also handing out, I think, free Red Bulls for limited quantity per store for those who are doing the midnight launch. And then for those of us who have in-store pickups from Best Buy, like I do, they haven't really announced what their midnight launch is going to look like. So I've been on a lot of subreddits, including the Switch 2 subreddit and the Nintendo subreddit, where gamers have talked about past console releases for consoles like PlayStation 5 or the Switch 1, where Best Buy had two separate lines. They had a line for people who already pre-ordered, and then they had a line for people who did not. So I would definitely recommend calling ahead a day or two before, especially if you have a Best Buy in-store pre-order for the Switch 2, and just confirm what the process is going to be. Best Buy is doing a limited edition commemorable coin for people who are doing the midnight release, so that's something to keep in mind if you pre-order through Best Buy. Now, for everyone who pre-ordered online from retailers like Walmart or the Nintendo Store or Target, your cards will probably start getting charged in the next couple of days if they haven't been charged already. And you should begin tracking numbers via email anytime between now and June 5th. So definitely keep your eye out on your email and your bank. They may contact you about a weird charge for the amount coming through if you haven't already. Now, for those who have not been able to secure a pre-order, all hope is not lost. A lot of retailers have already announced that they'll have some limited stock available starting on June 5th. So starting with Target, they've already announced that they will have limited stock in person on June 5th and the option to order online starting June 6th. Target's asking customers to line up early ahead of store hours on June 5th They'll have a ticketing system where if you'll have an opportunity to buy one console per person and some accessories in the electronics department. No specific number on how many consoles each store is getting. I definitely recommend you line up early if you think you're going to have to camp out and get one. There are also other retailers who are going to have limited stock for people who did not pre order on June 5th. So that's including GameStop, Best Buy, Costco, Staples, and Walmart. So I would take my chances if you haven't found one, trying to order one or go in store June 5th. When it comes to getting a console directly from Nintendo, their process is a bit more difficult. Both the Nintendo store in New York and the Nintendo store in San Francisco will have limited stock available for in store purchases. However, you have to have a Warp Pass in order to obtain it. So, to get the Warp Pass, you do have to log in with your Nintendo account and you have to request a certain day and time, and they're doing it via a lottery system. If you're selected, you can go at that day and time and have an opportunity, if the stock is available, to purchase a Switch 2 at one of those two locations. Currently, they're taking reservations for the week of June 10th through the 16th. No guarantee they'll have stock available, but it's another chance if you're located anywhere near the New York or San Francisco stores, try to get one that way. The Nintendo Store online is still emailing out reservations and invitations to purchase the Switch 2 through the online store. However, who knows when they're going to start sending out more invitations. They seem to be doing it in waves. I know for myself, I have registered that I was interested to buy one through the Nintendo Store on the day the pre-orders release, and I still haven't gotten an invitation from Nintendo, so I don't know, there's really no way to estimate when that will be available. But let me know in the comments below, did you secure a pre-order? Are you going to be going to a midnight launch? Or are you going to be fighting for your life trying to secure one the day of?